Your wedding was boring. I am genuinely sorry to be the one to tell you, but compared to what the human species has considered romantic over the last few thousand years, cutting a vanilla cake and tossing some rice is absolutely nothing. We are entering a world where grooms literally shoot their brides with arrows to prove their love, where newlyweds are legally banned from using the bathroom for 3 days, where wives were sold like livestock at public markets, and where an entire audience of relatives would stand around a bed to witness the couple consummate their marriage. These aren't just myths. These are documented historical realities that make modern ceremonies look like a HR-approved business meeting. Some of these will make you laugh. Some will make you recoil in pure discomfort, and at least one will make you question every single thing you thought you knew about the concept of happily ever after. Number 1. The Tidong bladder torture. No bathroom for 72 hours. Let's start with what is arguably the most physically demanding and medically questionable wedding tradition ever conceived. In Borneo, the Tidong people have a ritual that sounds less like a wedding and more like a punishment from a high-stakes reality TV show gone wrong. Once the wedding ceremony is over, the couple is forbidden by law and tradition from using the bathroom for 3 full days and 3 full nights. No peeing, no pooping, and no cheating. To ensure they don't slip away to a private corner, the couple is watched 24/7 by family members who take shifts like prison guards. To make this possible, the newlyweds are fed microscopic amounts of food and water, just enough to keep their hearts beating, but not enough to create any output. The belief behind this 3-day torture is that if the couple breaks the seal and uses the toilet, their marriage will be cursed with catastrophic bad luck. We're talking about infidelity, the death of children, or a complete collapse of the family fortune. Imagine spending the first 72 hours of your married life not in a romantic haze, but in a state of internal agony, desperately calculating exactly how long the human bladder can expand before it literally gives up. Modern doctors would call this a recipe for kidney failure. The Tidong call it the price of a long-lasting love. Number 2. The bedding ceremony. Marriage with a live audience. Medieval Europe was a place of extreme public living, and nowhere was this more awkward than on the wedding night. After the feast was over, the party didn't stop. It just moved into the bedroom. In a ritual known as the bedding ceremony, the wedding guests would physically escort the couple to their chambers. And by escort, I mean they would undress the bride and groom, tuck them into bed, and then they wouldn't leave. The guests, including parents, cousins, and local priests, would stand around the bed to witness the consummation. For royal families, this wasn't just a weird quirk, it was a legal necessity. Producing an heir was a matter of national security, so witnesses were required to confirm that the marriage had been sealed, so that no one could claim the future king was illegitimate. Sometimes the crowd would stay for hours, making jokes, offering encouragement, and drinking more wine, while the couple tried to ignore the fact that their Uncle John was giving them a thumbs up from the corner of the room. Privacy was a foreign concept. If you wanted to be married in the eyes of the law, you had to be willing to perform for the neighborhood. Number 3. The Manglik curse. Marrying a tree before a human. In India, astrology dictates more than just your personality. It can dictate your entire legal status. If a woman is born under a specific alignment of Mars, she is labeled a Manglik. According to tradition, this is a cosmic curse that supposedly brings early death or extreme misfortune to her future husband. The only way to bypass this death sentence? She has to marry a tree first, specifically a banana or a peepal tree. This isn't a metaphor. It is a full, formal wedding ceremony. The woman is dressed in bridal finery, prayers are chanted, and she is legally bound to the plant in holy matrimony. Once the marriage is complete, the tree is cut down or destroyed. The logic is that the curse transfers to the tree, which dies in place of her future human husband. Celebrities and commoners alike have performed this ritual to satisfy their families. Somewhere out there right now, a banana tree is being dressed in a groom's outfit, completely unaware that it is about to be sacrificed for the sake of someone's horoscope. Number 4. The Uyghur archery. Shooting the bride for love. The Uyghur people of China have a tradition that would result in an immediate 911 call in almost any other country. Before the wedding can proceed, the groom must hunt his bride. He takes a bow and 3 arrows and literally fires them at his future wife.
Now, before you start thinking this is a horror movie, the arrows have their sharp metal tips removed, but getting hit by a blunt force projectile at high speed still isn't exactly a spa day. After the groom successfully hits his bride 3 times, he retrieves the arrows and breaks them in half, along with the bow itself. This act symbolizes that his love is now permanent and that he will never harm her again. It's a bit of a paradoxical way to start a life together. I'm going to prove I'll never hurt you by first shooting you 3 times. It's the historical equivalent of promising to be a safe driver by first doing donuts in a crowded parking lot. But for the Uyghur, this ritual of feigned violence is the ultimate proof that the groom's aggressive instincts are officially broken and replaced by domestic devotion. Number 5. The soup, the chamber pot cocktail. French weddings gave the world champagne, fine lace, and romantic destinations. They also gave us la soupe, a tradition so revolting that it makes every other ritual on this list look like a luxury vacation. In old rural France, after the couple had escaped to their bedroom to start their wedding night, the guests would gather all the leftovers from the party. We are talking about half-eaten scraps of meat, dregs of wine, sauces, and bits of bread. They would mix this garbage soup together and serve it to the couple in a chamber pot, the vessel used as a toilet before indoor plumbing. The couple was legally and socially expected to drink the entire contents of the toilet pot before they were allowed to continue their wedding night. It was supposed to provide energy and fertility, but in reality it mostly provided a high risk of food poisoning. While modern versions of this involve clean chocolate and champagne in a brand new pot, the original version was a literal trash-to-toilet cocktail that served as a brutal reminder that in marriage you have to take the gross with the sweet.
Number 6. The fattening farms of Mauritania, Le Bleu. In Mauritania, a tradition exists that stands in complete opposition to Western beauty standards, yet it carries a heavy cost for the young women involved. In this culture, obesity, stretch marks, and physical bulk are considered the ultimate signs of a family's wealth and a woman's fertility. To prepare for marriage, young girls, some as young as 5, are sent to fattening farms to undergo a process called Le Bleu. Here, they are force-fed up to 16,000 calories a day. The girls are forced to consume massive quantities of camel milk, couscous, and oils. If a girl refuses to eat or vomits, she is often punished with zayar, where a stick is twisted between her toes to cause pain until she continues eating. While the practice is slowly declining due to health education, it remains a stark reminder that wedding beauty is often a painful social construct. This isn't about health, it's about transforming the bride into a physical status symbol for the groom, often at the expense of her long-term cardiovascular well-being. Number 7. Spartan man brides, the tactical wedding night. Spartan warriors were raised in all-male military barracks from the age of 7, meaning their entire social and psychological development was centered around men. When it came time to marry, the transition was considered so jarring that the Spartans invented a practical, if bizarre, solution. On the wedding night, the bride would have her head shaved completely bald and be dressed in male clothing and sandals. The groom would sneak away from his barracks in the middle of the night, find his bride in a darkened room, and consummate the marriage. The idea was to ease the groom into the experience by making the bride look more like the soldiers he had spent his life with. These couples would often live in a state of secret arrangement for years, with the husband only visiting his wife under the cover of darkness. In fact, many Spartan men reportedly didn't even see their wives' faces in the daylight until after they had already had children together. Number 8. Falaka, beating the groom's feet with fish. In South Korea, the groom's suffering begins the moment the vows are over. In a tradition known as falaka, the groom's friends and family take him aside, remove his shoes and socks, and tie his ankles together with rope. They then proceed to beat the soles of his feet with dried corvina fish or a wooden stick. While this sounds like a scene from a dungeon, it is treated as a playful test of character. Between strikes, the tormentors shout riddles and questions at the groom. If he answers incorrectly, the beating continues. It is supposed to prove the groom's strength, wit, and sense of humor before he heads off to his wedding night. While everyone is usually laughing and drinking during the process, getting your feet smacked with a dried fish is a painful way to kick off a honeymoon. It serves as a symbolic hazing ritual, welcoming the groom into the trials of adulthood and married life. Number 9. The wife auction, divorce for the poor. Between the 17th and 19th centuries in England, divorce was a luxury reserved only for the ultra-wealthy. For the common person, there was no legal way to end a bad marriage, so they invented wife-selling. If a couple wanted to separate, the husband would take his wife to a public market, put a halter around her neck like a horse or a cow, and auction her off to the highest bidder. While this sounds like the ultimate act of misogyny, historians have discovered that many of these auctions were actually prearranged, staged events. Often, the buyer was the wife's actual lover, and the auction was a way for the community to witness and legitimize the transfer of the woman from one household to another. It was a way to bypass a legal system that didn't care about the poor, turning the public square into a makeshift divorce court. The last recorded instance of this happened as recently as 1913, proving that the road to modern freedom was paved with some very strange public rituals. Number 10. The Swedish kissing game, no bathroom breaks allowed. Swedish weddings feature a tradition that tests the jealousy and the bladder control of the couple simultaneously. If the groom ever leaves the reception room, for example, to go to the bathroom, every male guest in the room is legally, by tradition, allowed to rush up and kiss the bride. Similarly, if the bride leaves the room, every woman in attendance can rush up and kiss the groom. This turns the wedding reception into a high-stakes game of stay in your seat. If the couple wants to avoid a line of relatives kissing them, they have to remain present and visible at all times. It keeps the energy of the party high and ensures the newlyweds are always the center of attention. While the kisses are usually just quick pecks on the cheek, it certainly adds a layer of anxiety to the night, making the couple think twice before they head for the door. From the bathroom bans of Borneo to the fish-beating rituals of Korea, human history proves that the way we start a marriage is rarely as simple as "I do." These traditions, as strange as they seem, show just how much pressure societies place on the concept of commitment, fertility, and family legacy. Your wedding might have been boring, but at least you didn't have to marry a banana tree or drink out of a chamber pot to prove your love. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the weirdest corners of human culture, make sure to hit the subscribe button and let us know in the comments which of these traditions you'd be most likely to survive. We'll see you in the next one.